Yo, what up, what up, what up? Y'all know what it is. It's your man, Hakeem Green. Channel live and direct. BDP, all day, every day. All we do, spark Madism TV, episode 48. And we got something extra special for the hip-hop generation. Let me tell you something. So, it's a lot of talk on the internet, about who, what, when, why, and how when it comes to this hip hop culture thing. And I got, somebody coming up that's like just so a part of the fabric of hip hop culture. Now, when we say hip hop, usually jokes be talking about rap music. No, we talk about the culture. And we're going to get into it with our guest today on episode 48. No other than the legendary DJ WIZ of the mighty Kid and Play, one of the greatest rap groups of all times. Don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. My guy was right there. He gonna give us the whole backstory, the whole shebang, not just about Kid and Play, but just the stable of hip hop that came out of the Herbie Love Bug situation. And, we just got a lot to get into, but we're going to move it along. You know how we get down on Madison TV. I'm going to throw up a joint. And while that joint is on, I want you guys to like, subscribe, ring the bell, share. Sharing is caring. I need y'all to share the stream to bring more folks into the conversation so they can catch these jewels we about to drop. Speaking of jewelry and speaking of Queens, big shout out to Queens, New York. Got this joint called Jewelry on my new album called Aubrey that drops September 2nd. I need y'all to go find that. It's on all your favorite streaming platforms. Buy it, but check out HakeemGreen.com as well, and you can download the album. And Jewelry, which is the joint I'm going to play, is produced. Actually, the whole album is produced by the homie, the legendary Ron Lawrence. But he's a filmmaker, so I'll throw that in there. How about that? And we're going to get into that, Founding Fathers. Yeah, no doubt. So with that said, we're going to get into Jewelry. And we're going to rock out. Share, like, subscribe, and let's do our thing. Yeah. This goes out to every old head who took the time to drop a jewel on me. Little bits of wisdom. Yo, check it out, listen. If pimpin' ain't easy, what the fuck is revolution? What? Rappers be spitting straight noise pollution. Here's a clean glass of water, I show you how to eat the live. What goes around comes, let me show you how to give. There's something that you hear when an honest at your ribs. In the street, you fuck your jewels, thug drool like baby biz. I try to stay mindful, write something for the kids. Talk it like I walk it, rap it how I live. I came up blue collar, strive to be a scholar, but I couldn't eat the love, I only starve without the dollar. Depression, the stress is enough to make you holler when the landlord's at your doorstep. The devil's on your collar. It's all like jewels. Can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Yeah. It's all like jewels. Can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Yeah. They call me a slacker, cause I won't sell crack for the cracker. I call women queens and I love the berry blacker. Some chicks get it twisted, they'd rather be called bitches with their ass in the air like everybody's supposed to kiss it. It's a simple lesson, you get what you deserve. It's life a bitch or just a pimp with a perm. See mommy tricked out, made a little heartburn. It's something she'll forget when it's time to take her turn. When will the children learn this was better to earn? But when my niggas put in work, they like to make the metal burn. End up in the system, it's all systematic. Maturing candidates, waving automatics. A product of a project launched in the 80s. Chemical warfare meant to kill the crack babies. Now as the world turns, is it just a story? Cause keeping it real got my sons in purgatory. It's all like jewels. Can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Yeah. It's all like jewels. Can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Yeah. In between heaven and Hades, like earthquakes in Haiti, the fat lady clears her throat and plays harp for the baby. They say I'm such a mystic, lyrics are mythic, but I make it so plain with details and specifics. I'm just gifted like that. I'm young and I'm black, so represent the game. I represent the fact that God helps those who helps themselves. So when God helps you, He's really helping Himself. Think every day have purpose. It's the science of life. Every breath's another roll. It's a science to die. Give me the moment. Learn from your mistakes. Try to learn from others. You get one roll at life, you won't get another. You have to learn the tricks, cause some niggas be on the gab. Want some funny business, but that shit will make you laugh. I thought he had the bread, wasn't wonder, not the weed. I'm wondering how it's coming back, cause my connect ain't getting beat. Since y'all like jewels, can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Yeah. Since y'all like jewels, can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Can I drop a jewel? Yeah. 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 That was Jewelry off the Aubrey album, produced by Ron Lawrence, Queen native, and very much a part of the same family as our guest, Mr. DJ WIZ.
I'm still grooving to that track, man. Like you and Ron, that's a match made in heaven right there, bro.
Yeah, bro. You know,
Slamming. You know, what's up, Hot? What's good?
What's up, WIZ?
Hey, bro.
All is well, man. I thank you much for coming on the Madison TV platform. I've been waiting for this for kind of a minute, and we were on an Instagram live with the brother Rob Love. Big shout out to him.
Yes.
Right, and we were talking about the controversy. I guess the DJ Academics thing, but then it turned into just the culture itself, the lack of respect for the culture. And us over here at Madison TV, we like to keep the conversation very much about the culture. I have this hashtag called Hip Hop Nobody Rapping. And, when we say hip hop, usually people mean rap music. They're not talking about the totality of the culture and where the culture comes from and the just the essence of how it was born. So I like to start from the beginning with yourself. Tell us who you are, where you come from, and when you first came in contact with what we now call hip hop.
Okay. Well, for all those that don't know, my name is DJ WIZ. I am most known for being the DJ for Kid and Play. We're all from Queens, New York. East Elmhurst, Queens represent. A lot of talent and homegrown hip hop culture history comes from that neighborhood in Queens. A lot of people are not familiar, but those that know. East Elmhurst, Queens birthed myself, Kid and Play, the man that just produced that track we listened to, Ron Lawrence, Herbie Lovebug, our producer, Salt and Pepper's producer, Herbie's Empire, which is, Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper, Kwame, Dana Dane, Sweet Tea. Like that was a big deal back in the days. He was like the first hip hop super clique next to the Juice Crew. Like it was the Juice Crew, Herbie's crew, went on Native Tongues, BDP. Like we got some really strong cultural influences from back there in that era. But yeah, East Elmhurst, Queens, and there's a lot about DJ WIZ before that, though.
Well, let's talk about before that. Like, let's take it back as far as you want to go. But like I said, when you first came in contact with hip hop, not the industry, not show business, but in terms of what was going on around you when you were first, waking up at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. What was going on?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I moved from Corona, New York to East Elmhurst, New York. This is like 76, 77. And, as a kid, you're going to make friends. Ron was one of my first friends when I moved to the neighborhood. There's a couple other guys that I hung out with. My man Shakim, Rasan, everybody was like a 5% back in the days. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm the only one that didn't have one of those names. I'm the only one. But they gave me a name. They called me Master Equality.
Wow, Master Equality. Peace to the God. Peace to the God. Yeah. Yes,
so,
sir.
We talking like 9, 10 years old. We took it across the street to 127 Park. That was where I kind of got honed into the DJing thing. We had mobile DJs that would come play in the park, bring these huge, incredible sound systems that would just blast music for blocks and blocks and blocks. And, you know,
this was 81, 82, 83, 78, 79, 75, 76.
This is 76, 77.
Okay.
Yeah, like it was coming in thick.
Right.
The park jams was happening before that. You know what I mean? But when I started paying attention, like 10 years old. You know what I mean? I'm like 10 years old.
And who were the DJs at that time who were
the mobile DJs that used to come rocking 127 were King Charles. They were from our immediate neighborhood. DJ King Charles, he had a squad, bunch of DJs, you know, tech guys, rapper. You know, he might have a one solo rapper from the neighborhood. There was this guy back in the days called Rapper T. He wasn't down with anybody, but he used to grab the mic and do his thing in the park. Other than King Charles, the Disco Twins, most definitely. The Disco Twins was all over Queens, right across the street from my house, 127 Park. New Sounds was another one. Infinity Machine was another one. Occasionally, we would get some promoters to do some gigs in either St. Gabriel's Church, which was known for having concerts. Of course, I was too young to attend these concerts.
Right, 10 years old, yeah.
Yeah, we had some of the, because I would look at the flyers though. You know, we would look at the flyers as kids and see who was coming to the neighborhood. So we saw they was bringing some of that uptown flavor down here to Queens. You know, anywhere where there was a sound system.
When you say uptown flavor, you got because Queens in of itself is like you got East Elmhurst, you got Jackson Heights, you got Corona, you got Queensbridge, you got these all different parts with different things going on. And then when you said uptown, I'm assuming you meant uptown Harlem.
Uptown, yes.
Right, okay.
Uptown, official uptown, Manhattan, Harlem, Bronx. You know, cats would come out our way and, you know, they'd get invited. Some of the mobile guys would invite other mobile guys. You know what I'm saying? So the good thing about that era, which was kind of like mid-disco era, when I was a kid, 76, 77, that was like prime disco era. And we were introduced to that disco 12-inch that had all of the extended breaks, you know, Apache, Dance to the Drummer's Beat. They all had these crazy thick break parts in the 12 inches. So, you know, I would hear a lot of that. I would hear a lot of that with the DJs. You know, they was playing back and forth the break parts of the songs, you know. So when I would go to the park jams, I just watch, listen, see everybody. And, you know, when you're a youngin', you want to be cool, you know, because we were far from cool as young boys. You know, we want to be older. We want to be accepted. So we see what the cool people are doing, whether they're dancing, they're rocking the fly gear, watching how they talk to the girls. You know, we're just trying to emulate and imitate so we could be cool too. So watching the DJs, watching what they did to the crowd made me want to become a DJ, basically.
Wow.
You know?
Now, when you say the breaks, right? And when we talk about, you know, hip hop culture and how important the breaks were, like the culture kind of grow out of the break beat and what people are doing with the break beat. So, you know, from finding the break part in a record and manipulating it, doing what you do, to now actual 12 inches with a bunch of break joints on it, like shows you how the culture got spread around.
Yes.
So from a DJ perspective, can you just talk about like the breaks and how you got your chops manipulating the breaks?
Yes. All right. So again, just watching the mobile DJs, what they did. Luckily, myself, I came from a family of music. I had nothing but older sisters. I was the youngest of 7 kids, only boy. And I just had a lot of older sisters that played records and music continuously. So I heard a lot of flavors early, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And while I was a kid and I had my little clique of friends when I moved to East Elmhurst, we quickly decided to form a little DJ group, a little b-boy group. And Ron Lawrence was one of those friends that was in the clique. We called our crew the B-boys. Okay. Now,
B-boys.
I bring up Ron Lawrence because Ron Lawrence's older brother was one of these mobile DJs that I spoke of that came to play in the neighborhood. I didn't mention his name earlier, but he's a vital part of why I became DJ WIZ as well. His name was Donnie Dance Master Lawrence. Dance Master was his mobile DJ name. And Donnie was the man because I talk about these breaks and these, these music gems that we were able to hear and put our hands on back in the days when we were kids. Donnie would get promotional 12-inch single records, whether it was Apache or Dance to the Drummer's Beat, where you couldn't just get these anywhere back then. You know, you had to be in the know. You had to be in the industry as a professional DJ to get some of these 12-inch instrumentals or just extended break versions. So us being able to access those helped us learn how to, just get comfortable with how to mix breaks.
Wow.
And then, of course, we would save up our little change and allowance and go to the record store in the corner. It was a store in the neighborhood called Wally's Record Shack we used to go to. It doesn't exist anymore, but we bought a lot of 12 inches and albums from there as well.
Wow, it's crazy. And again, we're talking about the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Okay, so now let's talk about like just Queens in terms of its impact, because from your crew, which just opened the floodgates for hip hop, its access not just from a radio, but movies, film, just like the Herbie Love Bug Empire, as you called it. It's just like, it's amazing for a young Black man to have that much vision and hand on the pulse of what we needed at the time. So like, can you just talk about like just how'd you meet, Kid and Play, Herbie, like how all that come into fruition?
Okay, well, like I said, East Elmhurst, Queens, it's not that big of an area of Queens. It's actually, it might be a mile square radius. I'm not even sure how big East Elmhurst is per se, but everybody knew each other, because we all go to the same places in the neighborhood. We all go to 127 Park, or everybody went to 127 School or St. Gabriel's School. So we all kind of knew each other because we all populated the same areas. So, yeah. You know what? All right, a question just popped up, or a comment rather. Herbie was the first puppy. That dude's he's absolutely 100% on point with that. Puff came, Ron actually spoke about this. I don't know if he told you, Hawk, but Ron brought Puffy to the studio when we were recording our album.
No,
that was the first time he had ever been in the studio.
He never told me that.
That's Ron.
Wow. That's what you tell us. You right here.
Ron is the one that, Ron is the one that put him on.
Right. That's it.
Ron got a lot of, he got a lot of credits. Let's give Ron his credits.
Yeah. I first met Ron at the Moving On Them video shoot, Two Kings in the Cypher.
You was there?
I was dancing in the video.
Are you serious?
I'm in the video dancing. Now that I said that, when you go back and see it, you're gonna be like, yo, there it is right there.
I'm going to look at it.
Crazy. So
right after this, I'm going to look at it. I had no idea.
Yeah, big shout out to Ron Lawrence. My God. Yeah.
That's crazy.
The history's crazy. The history's crazy. Yeah, history's crazy. However, you're saying that Ron bought Puffy to Herbie because JT just said that Herbie was the first Puffy. So that influence is where you were going with this.
Herbie was Herbie was the first super producer. You know, it's a toss up between him and Marley, but I'm saying Herbie because Herbie was always had that big vision to just for everything to be bigger than life. And you know, Marley used to be in the videos too. Yeah. But Herbie made sure he was in the videos too.
Yeah, but but always in the, you know, he was always in the cut. Like, you know, he's not, he wasn't, so he all up in the video. If you want to produce it, all up in the video.
Herbie and Marley did that first before Puffy. You know what I'm saying? But Herbie definitely had a variety of different artists. You know, Salt and Pepper, very clean and polished. The same thing with Kid and Play. You know, Marley, he had a more rugged street sound. So I guess that's why when people compare, they'll compare to Herbie because Puff's sound was similar. You know?
Now with Herbie, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, his influence on the building of groups, kind of like he built and developed acts and put them together, named them, you know. I don't know if you have much light you can shed on that. I don't want to blow nobody up. This ain't the rumor mill here. We don't.
No, but I know, listen. We telling facts here. We telling the truth.
Yeah, because I was, you know, how can I say? Now I know there was an original Spinderella.
Correct.
Right. There's an original Spinderella. I met her, very nice woman. Right. You know, and then there's Spin.
Right.
And then to see, you know, that whole thing happen with Salt and Pepper, it was just hurt because it's 30 years of this.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, but like the idea to, you know, Kid and Play, you know, you got Salt and Pepper, the DJ, WIZ, Spit, like it's just brilliant. God damn, it's just fucking brilliant. In the 80s, like it's
right.
And set the record straight so I'm outsider looking in. I don't really know all the details. I'm just
all right. So we know Herbie made Salt and Pepper. He made that group. You know, it's not like Salt and Pepper just woke up saying they want to rap one day. This was Herbie's experiment. They were an experiment that Herbie made happen. They just happened to like it. So thank God that they liked what they were doing, and Herbie was able to recruit Dee Dee, the second Spinderella, to take the other Spinderella's place. I never got the story why it didn't work out. I'm still not clear to that to this day. But I met Dee Dee early on. You know, I met Spinderella, Dee Dee Roper, very early on. Like we all were being produced and manicured and molded how Herbie saw the image for all of us. So, you know, I say all that to say Herbie had an image for Salt and Pepper, which every stage of their career, Herbie had to say so. Everything. Same thing with Kid and Play. A lot of people that weren't around back then don't know that Kid and Play rapped way on in like late 70s and 80s, you know, but they weren't together. But they were MCs, they were rappers in different groups.
Right.
Back in 81 and 82, I was in a group DJing in which Kid was one of the MCs. Talking about 81, 82. You know, the name of the group was the Turnout Brothers from Queens, from East Elmhurst. Ron Lawrence was in the group as a rapper. Kid was in the group. Another brother named Original B, and another brother named Clevio the Rock Child. So it was Grand Wizard and me, myself, and the Turnout Brothers.
God.
81, 82. We used to do gigs around the city with the world's famous Supreme Team, Divine the Mastermind, Just a Lot of Superstar, and from Staten Island, Dr. Rock and the Four Simpsons. Yeah, so
see,
yeah.
Like when you talk about the culture, right, and you talk about mixtapes, talking about how hip hop spread around through cassette tapes,
right,
and Force MD is just before it was on wax. Before it was on wax.
Right.
And you had, and you know, you guys are like, there was no promise of anything other than you just in the culture doing what you do. Yes. Like, talk about it from that perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to speak from my perspective growing up in it. We were kids just trying to be cool and doing what we loved, you know. Whoever took to rapping, you know, if that's what they felt, they became a rapper. Whoever felt the aspects of hip hop dancing, they usually became a dancer, and a pretty good one, you know. I myself, I loved rhythms and, you know, loving how to create stuff rhythmically. So the DJing was automatic for me. Like, I wanted to be a DJ. I actually wanted to learn how to produce, all of that. So I did learn all of that as we, you know, as time went on and I was able to afford to learn how to produce. But DJing was a no-brainer for me. When you see all of these talents that were back then, you know, I mentioned Dr. Rock and the Force MCs. You mentioned the cassette tapes. Cassette tapes used to get playing on the boom boxes. Whoever had a boom box
was the man.
Was playing some sort of cassette or something. So anytime we were blessed with a tape from another neighborhood, we learned other flavors. We learned other flavor. You know, we would get tapes from Uptown. We would get tapes from Brooklyn. We would get tapes from Staten Island with the Force. And we had WHBI, where Red Alert, Marley Marl, Mr. Magic, and the Awesome 2 as well.
Awesome 2, Special K and Ted.
And the world's famous Supreme Team. So we heard a lot of different sources, man.
You know, when people talk streaming these days, right? And you think of the cassette tape and how many dubs there were made, how many times people sat by the radio and just recorded the radio, and how many times people made recordings of recordings of recordings of recordings that are all like streams. But there was no way to quantify it back then.
Right.
We don't, you know, people go, oh, so-and-so got so many streams. And they're like, yeah, but how many times did somebody record Rapper's Delight? How many times somebody records Super Rhymes?
Wow.
How many times somebody record Tramp? How many times somebody record Push It?
I never thought about it like that.
Like, it's a stream.
Yeah,
it's being played, but it wasn't quantified yet, so it's just lost in the. And that's how the culture. Back to homies, the founders, and the whole Dusty comment. Like, bro, the culture was literally built off the love of the culture,
right?
The love of doing it,
and that's it. And like I mentioned before, the love of doing it, and of course, everybody wanted to be cool, you know, like that was something that we rapped about, being cool, you know. I mean, even from the most simplest lyrics of Rapper's Delight, you know, they talked about, you know, I got a Lincoln Continental
and some roof Cadillac. No, you didn't.
The pool. You know, this is all the cool stuff my man's talking about.
Come through with a fly OJ.
Yes, everybody just want to be cool and look cool. That's it.
Oh, what was a hold on for the viewers' edification? What's an OJ? And how important was an OJ to the culture?
These are cars we're talking about. You know, we're everybody always talked about a cool car. You know, used to be a Cadillac, Lincoln Continental, OJ. Like, these are cars that people fantasized about having, because a lot of us didn't have that trust. We didn't have any of those cool cars. We talked about it though. It's the same way people talk today about having whatever, you know.
Yeah. But talk it into existence.
Right. But you know, the fact of the matter is, everybody just wanted to be cool. Yeah. So they said they was cool with this, with that. You know, I got my fresh gear, I got my Nikes on, I got my Pumas on. You know, I got my Kango on. So everybody just want to be cool. Presentation.
So with shark skins, anybody shark skins? What you know about shark skins?
Well, shoot,
it's some British walkers.
before I was DJing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
You know, so my
Swedishness with the police on the side.
got the Visas, the Visa
Oh
joints,
yeah, bro.
all of that, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I
man.
wish we had the
Suede
video to
fronts.
show you. I should have brought pictures.
Oh Lord.
If I had known we was gonna be talking about that, I
Oh
would have brought the pictures. You know?
yeah. We need.
But
We'll do a part 2, and we gonna
yeah,
have them pictures.
absolutely. So,
Yeah.
you know, we just want to be cool. How you know what it is. Everybody just want to be cool. We got good at what we did, so we be the cool cats in the neighborhood.
Yeah. So it's just a disappointment for me late, in the recent social media chatter is all the division going on right now with hip hop. It's a lot of division. And it hurts me because it's like it's born out of unity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's born out of unity, and there was so many different flavors involved in the, what's your take on that, Wiz?
Well, you know what? There's a lot of ways to look at it, and it's a lot deeper than just our culture. I almost want to say it's like a color thing, because us with this culture is usually people of color that are responsible. So us in general, we have a weird way of trying to better ourselves and separate ourselves that way than other people of any other ethnicity. I hate to hear people say, "Oh, that's old," and it could be something that's a year old, and they calling it old, which I just don't get it. The first time I ever experienced that, I think I might have been watching on BET back in the days. I was watching 106th and Park, and they had the old school flashback of the day, and this is like in the mid 2000s, okay? And they played a DMX song, and I was like, I just turned to the screen and I was like, really? Old school?
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah.
So from that point, I kind of just started looking at things differently. And then even with the radio, they would have an old school lunch hour mix. Old school. And some of the stuff wasn't even from our era. It wasn't that old. You know, I'm like, why we gotta be old? You know, I don't mind the word classic, or, you know, it's all about how you present things. For some reason, we the only culture and genre that does not really respect what came before it. It could be a year or two, and people have short memories. They'll just say, "Oh, well, you ain't hot no more," or "You're not relevant anymore." Let me tell you, when people start talking like that, I gotta walk away, man, because I don't want to be around ignorance. That's just ignorant to me when people say that. You know, it's not irrelevant, and it's not old. You know, this is classic. I go with
classic, vintage, classic.
Vintage, classic.
Like, so I listened to, I heard, excuse me, on Rock the Bells, LL was interviewing the Beastie Boys, right? And he got them to talk about going to radio back then,
right?
And going to pop stations, rock stations, and them saying to them that they don't play rap music, but they would play the Beastie Boys, making the distinction of, for me, beyond race, how many doors were closed to hip hop, right? So when you look at like a group like Houdini, Curtis Blow, and his impact for Houdini's impact for what came after, in terms of opening doors at radio, opening doors at video, which was a brand new thing coming up. MTV was a closed door until Michael Jackson, and then slowly we get hip hop later on in the 80s. But all the while, this cultural phenomenon is being built that gives legs to what's going on now. And that gets so missed. How many doors, not invited in, but we literally had to kick down. When you talk about Run DMC, when you talk about Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper, opening up doors that were never open to hip hop before, and where that led us.
Yeah, I mean, look, you raised so many good points. Like, we could take each one of them and expand it, like, really, really deep. When you talk about doors, all right, so you want to go, let's talk about the Beasties. All right. So that's pretty amazing. Like, that's an amazing perspective you just had. Like, they wouldn't play anybody else, but they'll play these guys. Why do we ask? Is it very obvious? It's pretty obvious why they would choose to play them. Um, we gotta be thankful for it still, because they broke a door open for the rest of us.
Yeah. Rest in peace, MCA.
Yes, rest in peace, MCA.
And Mike and Adam, they're top-notch people. So let's not get it twisted. They
Right.
were yeah.
I mean, look, they were part of the culture, you know, regardless of color, you know, from Rick Rubin and Russell pushing these guys, you know, they were going to make it regardless at some point, but because they got the okay to get that airtime, it helped all of us. You know, we all going through that same door, but there were definitely gatekeepers from our own people, that didn't want to play rap, didn't want to play hip hop.
Talk about it.
You know, like, look, let's keep it real. People did not think it was going to last. They would call it all kinds of whatever music. That ain't music. That ain't what are y'all doing? Y'all scratching up the records. Y'all just making a bunch of hooga music. Y'all ain't even saying nothing. We're not saying nothing. Okay, just take a minute to listen. Take a minute to listen to what we're saying and what we're creating, because this, you know, we can say this almost 50 years later. This music assimilated all other music, and it is one culture of hip hop sprinkled on everything. Every other genre of music, we exist.
Yeah,
you know, right. You can't deny us, man.
So, like, you know, you've been a part of some, you know, some huge things from, like I said, DJing, record production, putting out music, film and TV. Like, you know, first of all, the House Party franchise is like a phenomenal thing. It's like a cultural thing. Like Kid and Play is a cultural movement.
Right.
Like talk about, you know, that relationship you guys have to not just the New York City tri-state area culture, but like globally, you guys brought hip hop to places that it didn't exist yet.
Right. I think a lot of why not just Kid and Play, but Herbie's groups in particular. Like I said, Herbie had a perspective of what he wanted his groups to be. Now, Kid, who originally was the Kid Cool Out, Herbie shortened his name and made him Kid. Play, who was originally Playboy the Lady's Joy, Herbie shortened that name and now he's just Play. Kid and Play. Salt and Pepper. So Herbie just had that mind to make things catchy and visually exciting as well. So that's why Herbie had a girl DJ. Like, there was no other girl group with a girl DJ back then. Salt and Pepper weren't the first rappers, but it was never presented in a package like how they were. You know, so Herbie had the same idea with Kid and Play. Like, Kid and Play didn't have a DJ at first. Herbie made them take me as their DJ. He's like, take Wiz. That's how I got the DJ for Kid and Play, pretty much. Herbie knew, like, we all knew each other from the neighborhood. You know, like I said, we all grew up in East Elmhurst, Queens. We were all in opposing crews in the same neighborhood. You know, Herbie Lovebug was Herbie, Play, a guy named Romeo, a guy named Prince Charm. They were the Super Lovers, okay, with DJ Quicksilver. That was one group. Then we had the Turnout Brothers, me, DJ, Kid, Ron, Original B, and Clevio. So that was the next group. We all knew what we could do from 79, 80. We all were still doing it. We were still in this rap hip hop thing, building it from back then. So when Herbie decided to make Kid and Play, and let's be fair, Salt and Pepper opened the door for Herbie.
Hmm.
When Herbie created them
Mm-hmm.
and made these hit records, because Herbie's responsible for all of that. Okay, we all know Herbie created rhymes, everything. He created the group. Okay, no, I mean we've
But that's
seen the
that. But
documentary.
right.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
It's not
Mhm.
like I'm telling
Right.
new news, but because they were successful, you know how it is, Hawk. Any person that creates a successful product, all of these other record companies not. Well, what else you got?
Yeah.
Who else you got?
But
So
you got to deliver, and he's steadily delivering.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Herbie's a student. Herbie's a student. I mean, we all listened to our predecessors. We got to give it up to Melly Mel and Kumo D, all of these pioneer rappers that
Right.
created everything.
Well,
We
well,
again,
I need you to I need you to go in on something
okay,
specifically though. Right.
yes,
Right. I need you to go in on Full Force
okay,
and UTFO, Kango Kid, rest in peace.
amen.
Educated rapper, rest in peace. Um, you know, I need you to talk about the impact of Full Force
Oh man,
and that
full
whole wave
force,
and that whole wave.
absolutely. Now, first of all, shout out to my brother Bowlegged Lou. Lou is like my brother, man. I love those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Anthony, Be Fine. They're just a good family.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are brothers. They're brothers, literally. So Full Force knocked down the doors for a different sound in the culture
Mm-hmm.
very early. Um, when they put on UTFO, they helped produce these guys. I don't know if they styled them. I don't think they styled them. I don't know who created UTFO's look,
Mm-hmm.
but they came through the door thanks to Full Force. Full Force made their single Alice, which knocked down the door for everything else to come. Alice was a big record. It was hip hop and R&B, early flavor.
Mm-hmm.
They had scratching in a record with the dope groove. They were sampling. They were ahead of the game. So because they had their end, they brought in Whistle. They brought in UTFO. They brought in Lisa Cult Jam.
Mm-hmm.
They're another super contributor to in an era where there was nothing. You
Yeah.
know,
Now they like I've read something on them where they're like a musical family from like back and they grew up playing music together.
yeah,
And it's just you talking about the 70s, 80s, and a different sound.
they from Brooklyn.
Lisa and the
Deep
Cult
Flatbush.
Jam.
They
That
from Deep Flatbush,
huge that
Brooklyn. Man.
is. They
Yeah,
got the street all the way up to the pop.
right,
And like it's just
right.
amazing. Full Force is amazing.
I mean, they've done so much uh, for pop music and black music.
Yeah.
They started with the black flavor, but then they were such good songwriters and producers. All of the pop bands and acts wanted them to create content and music for them. So that's why they got to work with, Britney and Sync and all these other groups. They were just super
Wow.
talented.
Yeah, I just that's important for people to know. We talk about the foundation of this thing and the people at the
Yeah,
groups, the production companies that were laying the foundation
right.
when there was no foundation laid.
No foundation. There were
You know
there
what?
were no models. There were no,
No.
like, people were creating themselves, and we didn't know what we were creating at the time. We were just
Yeah.
doing what we loved. Like you said, we did it to be cool. Then make a little money. That was like a bonus.
Man, hold on 1 second. Oh, he said Howie T.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Howie T,
come on.
part of that family. He's part of that
Ah,
family, man. That whole Full Force movement. Chubb Rock produced with Chubb Rock,
yeah.
Special Ed. But Howie was low key. I was very low key. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but definitely nice
Yeah.
DJ, nice production, like nice with his. Absolutely,
Wow.
very nice with his.
Yeah, man. So you know, like, so there's the culture, you know, and people think the elements, rapping, and singing, breakdancing.
We well, you see, the breakdancing thing.
Mhm.
Thank God that we got people overseas that are still carrying that culture, because overseas it seems like it's really taken seriously, the
Yeah.
breakdancing thing compared
Yeah.
to here how it used to
Well,
be.
that how it used to be is different. Yeah, but there are pockets around the country, like down here where I'm at, South Florida. There's like crews that they really take it. They do a annual thing down here that's kind of
I
packed
love to
every
hear it.
year. You know, they go in.
Well,
But
especially
I know in South America,
yeah.
Asia, it's something different.
Are they still going to include it in the Olympics?
I hope so. 2024 is supposed to go down, right?
Let's hope so. But yeah, I mean, come on now. Who would have ever thought hip hop would be in the Olympics? That's hip hop.
That's it. That's
That is
how
hip
you
hop.
said. That's probably 20 years later than it should have been. It should have been in the Olympics.
Yeah, but you
That should have
see,
been in it.
we could say that, but the problem with that, if it had came earlier, there was no organization or any sanctioning bodies that would have probably agreed to do it back then. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it's all about having the right organization and governing bodies in place to
yeah.
actually judge that.
That's real. That's real. That's
You know?
real. Well, I know when Clubhouse kind of exploded in the Clubhouse,
Yes.
I don't really go too much lately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had
Kind of
I had to pull out because I was staying up
just
too late.
chill,
I had to
just
pull
chill,
out.
just chill.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was these different panels talking about the Olympics and breakdancing, and it was very informative in terms of the different organizations involved nationally versus what's happening locally and how much involvement U.S. breakdance organizations are actually going to have in
Mm.
deciding the rules and what have you. And then, it's just we see our culture expand, other people embrace it, do other things with it, take control of it, and then we stand on the outside mad.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we trying to harness it all in now, and there's a lot of things happening now, which I guess is just God's timing. You know, when we spoke earlier about the comment said about our old school brothers,
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
between that and the Olympics and just the overall perception of this hip hop culture, and I'm saying everything, all of the elements,
Yeah.
everything that is hip hop,
Mhm.
it all needs to be addressed from all of the stories that have not been told, all of the contributors that need to be recognized, all of the people that created something that never got paid.
Mhm.
This is a good reason why I'm glad
Yeah.
that there is a hip hop museum in the Bronx,
Big shout out to
in
Rocky.
Atlanta. Yeah, big shout out to Rocky, and between
Yeah.
the Universal Hip Hop Museum and the other hip hop museum that they got down south, and what other ones that are coming in the future. We want them all to have the truth. So we got to start hearing from people now. Every little interview that you do like this with everybody that contributes is
Mhm.
another foundational brick of
Yep.
truth and facts that can't go anywhere
Mhm.
because it's here forever now.
Mhm.
Everybody.
True
So
indeed.
it's great that you're here to ask the people that were there
Mhm.
their truth and their account of not just their contribution, but what they saw. Because I love to give people their flowers and to
Mhm.
tell the truth. That's why, you talk about Ron Lawrence, I talk about all of the cats we grew up with, each one of us, like we were like brothers, 9, 10 years old, learning how to DJ, break dance, rap, all of this stuff. We didn't have a dime. We didn't have nothing.
It wasn't thinking about I don't know, but he wasn't thinking about I'm gonna be a legend
No,
in the music game. I'm gonna
absolutely not.
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, look, come on. You think when I was learning how to DJ, I was thinking about going on tour, or like, no, none of that was ever a thought. That none of that existed back then. None of it. Nobody ever knew you'd get to, go around the world and, create brands and TV shows and movies and do commercials. Dude, never in a million years. Nobody knew what we were doing. We didn't know what we were doing.
And it's hard to explain to people who weren't there because
Right.
like it's just the access. One, this technology thing is on steroids right now. So what you could do with this is amazing. Like just to hop
Yes.
on and just, you do your thing. Like that was unheard of back then. This would take, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not
Right.
millions of dollars to pull
Forget
off.
about it.
You know
We
what I
can
mean?
just
So
talk to each other just like that. We're streaming across the whole world right now.
What? It's
Like we're
crazy.
streaming across the whole world. Like, Hot, you know what studio time used to cost.
What?
You know what studio time used to cost.
Oh,
You know how much a 24-track reel used to cost.
Yeah, man.
Come on, man. Like, you don't need nothing. I could record an album right here on this laptop.
Yeah, for the electric bill. That's it. That's it.
You got the right programs, the right plugins. A little mic.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to frame a little vocal room. You can do everything right here.
Yeah.
Back then, you had to save, you had to work, or you had to have an investor to do one song. Just one.
Just one. Just one. A single. Not to mention the marketing, promotions, publicity.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, and then came the video. Like,
right.
The amount of money that it took to shoot. You can shoot a video for nothing.
Right.
With your phone. You can shoot a video with your phone and edit it on your phone.
Yes.
A phone. Back then, the phone on the wall. You talking about that phone? Like people don't understand the obstacles that were leapt over in order for all of this to exist.
Yeah, I mean, so that's why, when you hear people disrespect the people that paved the way, people will come up here and jump in and just create something, whether it's a podcast, a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel, whatever. They'll get these people following off of this culture that's almost 50 years old and not know anything about how that was created, not know anything about the inaccessibility, not know anything about there was no monetization, there were no managers, there were no accountants, nobody was making money, nobody had structure, there was nothing. There was no way to get out there other than telling people, oh, yo, my such and such rap, like, oh, you got to hear my cousin. Oh,
word
man.
of mouth was everything.
Word of mouth,
word of mouth.
Or directly, like if let's say you were blessed to make a record, you had to go hand it to whoever you wanted to play it. You had to know the DJ. You had to get it out there. Like you said, the cassettes. You dubbed them cassettes. Hand it out. There was no internet to just go, oh, here go my link. Play my song. You had to know somebody.
Put a DJ pack in the email and send it to 1,000 DJs all at once.
Right.
Nah, it wasn't that. You had to put them in packages and mail them, or you had to go yourself and take them.
Right. So this is what people don't know. And that's what people can't consider because they were born into this easily accessible culture. Easily accessible. I mean, look, you see all of these records behind me, right? You see all of these crates.
That's the work right there.
Dog, come on, man. Like, this is what we had to do to rock parties. This is what we had to do to do hip hop. We had to have this. It wasn't just about having Serato and a hard drive full of songs. That did not exist. So if people really took that in and say, hey, we're going to go do a party. Okay, bring the music. And there's no Serato. Serato don't exist. Oh, where's the music? Okay, get those crates right there, and we're going to go.
And we're gonna lug them. We're gonna lug them to where they need to be. Like you have to. So when we were on the Rob Love Live the other day, right? We were talking about the crate. in the importance of the crate to the culture. They're all behind you right now. You got the background perfectly displaying the essence of the culture, ladies and gentlemen.
Great.
The crate. Like, there are other bits of our culture, right, that have nothing to do with rapping.
Right.
It's about, like, when you say the importance of the crate and where you got to get the crate from, the process of getting the crate, and how that process changed over time because of the necessity of the crate itself. So what crates mean to hip hop, and then you got digging in the crates, and then that whole psychology. Like, this is all what culture is.
Right.
When people say doing it for the culture, like, what are you really talking about? Because there's things that shape us, like, on a real basic level. The crate is something that shapes us. People carrying crates. When you party, it just wasn't you. You needed somebody to help you carry your crates. That's a job that was created by crates. That's ill. You had to pack it in the car. Somebody told me, who told me the story? They said when they was DJ, Mr. C said that early on when he was first getting his first DJ gigs, he didn't have a car. He said they would take their equipment with their crates and go to the bus stop and take the bus to the party with their equipment. Like, there's a whole effort, energy, focus, plan of action that takes to pull that off, that other people who aren't involved in that don't understand what that is.
First of all, you said get on the bus with the equipment.
With the equipment.
I can't even fathom that. I can't even fathom that. Like, honestly, see, I take my hat off to you, son. Like, getting on any type of public transportation with damn near just a crate of records is unheard of. You talking about equipment? That's insanity, dude. Like, yo.
Yeah, like,
respect him, man. I mean, first of all, to take the bus, that means he was gigging far away. You gigging pretty far, see? I mean, shoot, we go a couple of blocks. Like, when I was a kid, we would do a couple of blocks, because East Elmhurst wasn't that big. So, we might have to beg for a ride from somebody. Even if you have to take it on a bike, whatever
it was, just the effort of carrying music to the jump off so it could jump off.
Yeah.
Like, it's not press the button. It's a whole thing. But there are other parts of the culture that are similar in that nature. Absolutely. Like, just the idea of, I don't know how involved in the graph world you were or not, but
I couldn't draw. I was terrible at drawing, and I couldn't break them. So that's why I left them alone. I couldn't break, I couldn't draw.
See, so, I came up as a dancer. That was the thing. That was the for me.
Watch Moving on them. I had no idea you was.
Yeah. I was doing the Bart Simpson.
Right after you finish, I gotta go see.
Yeah, man, yo, Ron Lawrence. That's the illest, because him and D-Dot is two of the illest jokers in the game. Like, in the game and just in the culture, not just like it's the music industry,
right?
And then there's the culture, right? And people don't understand. And then when you could show and prove in both, you down by law.
Yeah, man. And those two guys, I met D-Dot thanks to Ron. When Ron was going to Howard back in the days, and
Howard,
they were just focused, man. Them guys were super focused, and that's the same way Herbie was. Herbie's still that focused dude. We might not see Herbie, but Herbie's the same dude. He's always been focused, and when he got that idea, he gonna hit that target. You know what I'm saying? Like, Herbie was always good with rhythms and melodies. Like, a lot of Salt and Pepper sound, a lot of Kid and Play sound. Herbie would just flip stuff. Herbie was good at flipping melodies and bringing them to hip hop beats. That was his gift.
Early,
dude. I mean, when you think about any of Salt and Pepper's records, just how melodic they were, and they made sense. It's like nothing was forced together.
Sonically superior.
sonically superior, always flowed with a dope beat. And then the show, like those videos, Salt and Pepper's videos, Kid and Play's videos, that's that
Huge, large.
they were
Yeah.
they were groundbreaking,
Yeah. Tramp is my favorite though.
Tramp. Yeah, Tramp is a big one. IOUs and them was all up in there. Listen, Tramp was big. Tramp was I was at that video shoot. Like, listen, Tramp was a big deal when Tramp came out. And when it came on TV,
I was a rap.
Played on hot tracks.
Like that was like just an important time in my life. That was like, 87, 88, 89, right? Got my years right?
Yeah.
I mean, 87, 88, it was 87, 86, 87.
We know Rapper's Delight came out in 8. All right. King Tim III, 79. So from those 2 years forward were like important times for hip hop, because that's when Curtis Blow came out. Like, and we had records, everything that was on Enjoy Records came out prior to those really big records.
Was Heartbeat was on Enjoy?
Yes. Love Rap, Heartbeat, Super Rapping from Grandmaster Flash, Furious 5, There was a couple other ones, Spoonie G. Yeah, so
yeah.
And everything that was the Super Disco Breaks albums back then. They had a Vicious Rap and what was the other? Woody Rap. There were a few very underground rap joints, but they were on vinyl. You know what I'm saying? Anything Paul Winley records, that's what it was. Paul Winley made the Super Disco Breaks. This is before the Octopus records. We talking way back.
Can I just get you to build on two people?
Yes.
Mantronics.
Oh.
The importance of Mantronics. And the other one is Pumpkin from Pumpkin and All Stars.
Okay. So I'll start with Pumpkin. Pumpkin, I never met Pumpkin, okay? But I remember when Pumpkin made that record, the All Stars joint on Enjoy Records. Some records just, when you hear them, they change the game. Pumpkin and the All Stars changed the game. There was a certain style of production that was out back then, and when you heard Pumpkin's song, it kind of just flipped that on its head.
Yeah,
the whole production style, and then a bunch of different all-star rappers all appearing on his song, the Funky All Stars. We are the Funky
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Oh my God.
All of
Andre
them.
Harrell.
Right. So and it's funny that a lot of people didn't know Andre Harrell was a rapper. They didn't know. They just know him as the executive, friend of Russell Simmons and creator of Uptown Records. They don't know Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
That these guys had flavor. Him and Alonzo. Like them guys were
talking about being fly.
Yeah. Fly.
Talking about being fly, suited and booted, tight, coming executive style with rhymes.
Right.
With bars.
So Pumpkin's sound was very incredible. I mean, you know what? We didn't hear enough of it. It's like that single was the explosion. And, if I talk about Mantronics was another one. From that Fresh Is the Word single, that created such an era. Like, it was like a new era of fresh hip hop that we had not heard before. Was it MCT? MCT, is that his name? That was rhyming? Dude. That 808, man, that 808 caught some super duper fame thanks to guys like Mantronic. His album, sonically, music, production, he was just on another.
Right.
He was in another
It was
universe. He was like in
yeah.
another universe because he had edits and just such crispiness, and he tried stuff nobody was doing, and it was all hip hop. Everything about it was hip hop.
These like early foundation, different sounds, just what
Right.
moved the culture before what, like, you know, like post Rakim.
Right.
This,
Well,
I say this is pre Rakim. My shit.
before Rakim, yeah.
This is pre Rakim, but after Rakim, the page turned.
Right. The thing about it is the sounds that Mantronics were using were very popular sounds. It's just the way he flipped them. Like his production and sequencing skills and how he mixed stuff was revolutionary. It was revolutionary because nobody was doing it before him. And he knew he was sampling and he was sequencing on another level. You think about records like, this guy did Just Ice albums, like he did. I'll never forget when he did Cold Getting Dumb. Like I was like, yo, what is this? What is, like, how did he do this? That's all, his sounds and his production, that's what you thought when you heard his stuff. Like, yo, this dude is bananas. The edits, the sampling, and the way he programmed. He definitely is major to the culture. Guys like Herbie, guys like him, they all were game changers. Period.
Yeah. It's just, I just wanted to throw those names out there because I think it's important for people to understand, not to say that Pumpkin and Mantronics are unsung heroes, because people who know. Right. But those are names that don't get a lot of shine. We don't talk about them a lot. We don't talk about their importance, and they need to be talked about. So, I got one of the legends in the game, aficionados, Mr. DJ WIZ. You know what I'm saying, from the Mighty Kid and Play. DJ extraordinaire, just he himself a foundational piece in hip hop culture. Been there, seen it from the early stages. It's just a pleasure to have you on Madison TV, my brother.
I thank you, brother. Listen, we connected, and we're going to continue to promote how we came in, what we love, and we're not going to forget anybody. We're going to, anybody that needs to get their flowers, we're going to help bring them their flowers.
Yes, sir.
And that's it. The bottom line. There's too many people that don't get those flowers. And we're here to make sure that everybody gets their honorable mention, because we all help. We all put a brick. Everybody who touched a microphone, a turntable, got on the floor and break dance, scribble something on the wall. You're all
everybody. Everybody moves the culture. When you participate in the culture, mind you, just we gotta but to nurture the culture, like the things that we're doing now, and definitely, I don't know if you work with young folks or if you like the importance
of DJing. I'm teaching DJing 101.
There you go. The importance of sharing the culture with the next generation. So important. So, brother DJ WIZ, I thank you so much. And we got to do that part 2 so you can bring the flicks in. You said you're gonna bring some pictures.
Listen, I got a lot of stuff now. I got flicks. I got audio. I have actual audio. It's not that it needs a little bit refining, but I got audio when we DJ'd and did that show with the World's Famous Supreme Team and Dr. Rock and them. Like, I got some of that.
So we got to set up part 2 soon. Just let me know what the schedule is, and we'll just make that happen. We got set it all up. I know it's got some production time got to go in because you want to set it up nice and right. But I really want to do that, so we got to make sure that happens.
Yeah, no, look, the history will be televised. Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Here. It's your boy Hakeem Green, Madison TV. Now we get down. JT, what up, bro? I see you out there. Thanks for supporting. Again, I need y'all to like, subscribe, share the stream, hit that bell. This is Madism TV, your boy Hakeem Green, DJ Wiz. Thank you so much, brother.
My pleasure, brother.
We out.
Salute.